Alright, I am back and we are going to draw a hermit crab. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you haven't already read it, A House for Hermit Crab, I wanted to do that one because it just helps you know that change is not always bad and not to be so afraid of it. Sometimes change is good, as he went through and found all these decorations and made him a beautiful new house, and at the end he gave his house away and got into a bigger one. So change is not always that bad. Alright, so I'm going to do this in chalk pastels, and you can do colored pencils or crayons or markers or whatever you feel like doing it in that you've got available at home. Alright, let me go down here on the document camera and let's see. Here we go. There I am. Can you see me? So it should be hopefully getting into automatically focusing here. Alright, there we go. I'm going to do this long way, up and down, and I'm going to do each little segment with its own color of what it's going to eventually be. So let me get a pale blue. Let's see, we're going to start in the middle of the paper going up the long way, and we're going to make a spiral. Alright, so we're going to start here, and we're going to get a little bigger, and we're going to go around one more time, and we're going to make a shell. And we're going to stop here and make a half a circle, and we're going to square that off right there, because we're going to make a head right there. No eyes yet, because as you know, crabs have stalks for their eyes, don't they? So we're going to get red, because what we're going to do is draw a long circle shape right there, a long skinny circle shape right there. All right, that's going to be our crab's head eventually. All right, so now to give him some legs, I'm going to keep the red, and we're going to start the first one almost like right under his head. So I'm going to go like this and go up. All right, it's kind of like a long rectangle. Then I'm going to bring the second one here and go up. Let me get this moving up here so everybody can see. All right, then I'm going to do one more like right here. All right, you'll see what they're going to become in a minute, and then we're going to do one right there beside him. Got it. Now, crabs' legs are kind of look like armor plating, don't they? And they look like they're divided up into different segments of things. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add one segment to that one, and I'm going to add another segment to that one. I'm going to add a fat segment to that one and kind of curve it like he's walking backwards, and I'm going to do the same there. Can you see it? There's our whole thing all up close in front. Alright, now I'm going to do another segment here and a little segment there. I'm going to make that one a little fatter. Alright, don't get fooled by that because we'll color it in. It's not a mess up, remember? So we're going to do one more long skinny one there, and we're going to kind of top it off with a square, rectangular, triangular shape. Going back to these two front ones. But let's go ahead and give him his back ones, alright? So there's my whole snail, my hermit crab shell. And back here we're going to do a big fat one here. And we're going to do a little skinny one back there. And then we're just going to do one small short one right there. Those are his back legs. They're in the back of his shell on the other side, so we can't really see them. They're in the back. These are our four legs. Alright, now what we're going to do is give him another segment, give him another segment, and then we're going to do dividing on these last two segments there. Those look like what, W's? Yes, if you guessed that, you are awesome. They're W's. Now, we have almost got our hermit crab ready for coloring. I'm going to do a small little thing there. Alright, you can too. I just added kind of like a rectangular, triangular shape. So, up here where his head is, let's go ahead and let's start coloring that in. Just go ahead and do it solid and get it shaped up good. Let's just go ahead and shape that up. Alright, we're going to color that in. And I want to still see some of the white. You see I just blended it with my finger. And that is what my hands look like when you work with chalk pastels. Yes. Ugh. All right, so let's go ahead, and before we color these in, let's go ahead and let's do some outlining of our head in black so we can make our shapes and know how we want to do them. All right, go ahead and do some outline. Then let's go ahead and do an outline on our legs here. Just kind of going over where we did the red. Same thing here. Same thing here. You're just outlining them, that's all. I'm going to go fast, but now you can pause this and go as slow and take as much time as you need to, but I've learned that these videos do not allow you to do over a certain time. So, alright, and remember I said I didn't like that shape, but that's alright. Now, we're just outlining these legs. Outlining our legs, all right? And see what happens with the chalk pastels? They get, again, everywhere. Ah! All right, now I'm going to pick up my red. Let's get back to the red and get his head in here. All right, now I'm going to start putting some red coloring in here. I don't want to color it all in everywhere, just want to make the gist of it. Gist. Do you know what that word means? I don't either really, but it sounds fun. Alright, we're just going to do some red splotches in here. Alright, and you see the black gets dragging in here with it. Gets dragged through there because it blends. It's chalk, so it kind of gets a reddish, a blackish reddish color in some spots because it's going into the black. Alright. But that's what we want with chalk pastels. It's cool. And if you look at his picture of his hermit crab, he's kind of sparsely done too. He kind of looks like he's segmented. Alright, here we go. Hold on. Now, I'm going to pick up another color that's a different shade of red. You might not have that with your stuff, and that's okay. But I'm just going to give him, where the whiter spots were left, I'm going to just add some of this other texturized reddish orange here to give him a little bit of detail on his legs. And again, y'all do not have to do that. Miss Barthel's just getting in there and coloring it a little bit more with a different hue, shade of a red. Y'all do not have to do that. That's just Miss Barthel and her paintings and what she likes to do. So then I'm going to take some of that and put it in here on his head and give it a little bit more texture. Alright, and then I'm going to do a little bit darker in these areas that the white's showing up through. I want to see some of it, but not all of it. Alright, now what I'm going to do before we get going on the shell is I'm going to go ahead and give this little crab here, let me get that, alright, we're going to go ahead and give this crab some of his eye stems. Alright, I'm going to do it like this. It's just a straight line, and I have a circular moon on there. And this one is going off the page, so we won't even get to see that one on mine. But if you're going to do it, you do the same thing with the eye with the half circle. Because now we're going to go up here, and we're going to put a big black circle right there for an eye. I don't have room for the other eye, but that's okay. If you do, put you another eye on there. All right. Now, to do the shell, we are going to take the black and kind of trace around, go back around where we had our blue. Alright, up in here, and then I'll go back this way to meet it up there. Alright, now, hermit crab shell is going to have a little bit of like browns and blues, and we're going to keep the blue to the outer line. So just kind of do some blue along the outer lines. That's a purpley blue. I'm going to change that out. See, Miss Barthel doesn't care. She just changes it up. It's okay, right? I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to pick up this other blue just because I'm trying to find me a blue I like. And we're just going to do some around the shell, outer lines of his shell, just emphasizing the lines we already put on there, just in certain spots. Or over the whole thing. That is up to you. Alright, now we're going to take a little bit of brown, and we're going to do some brown in there, just tiny little places of it, not a whole lot of it, just in little splashes of it. Can you see? Because with the chalk pastels, I'll show you what I'm going to do with them in a minute when I get all these colors lined up how I want them to. Let's see, I'm going to do some folding right in there. Alright, putting some a little bit more here. Now I'm going to take some of the green and I'm going to put it in there. Dispersed like almost like little segmented colors, but I'm not going to keep it that way. I'll show you with the pastels what I'm going to do. Alright, going here. I don't have anything right there. So now what I'm going to do is, oh, look at there. Take my fingers and I'm going to kind of start smudging it in, giving him some shell color, leaving some of it white, and kind of softening up the segmented colors that we just put in there. And I'm going to take this black and I'm going to pronounce it right around there, like that, and make it stand out a little more on his shell, and maybe just a little bitty places here and there throughout the shell you can do that on. It gives it some depth. It makes him stand out where he's not flat. Now I'm going to go ahead up here and I'm going to take a tiny bit of yellow and I'm just going to do the same thing through here. Put some yellow through there. I'm going to put some yellow up in here on his back of his neck where his head comes out of his shell, and I'm going to put a little bit of yellow in here and here, just wherever you want to do some spots. And oh, look, there we go again. I'm going to smooth or blend in some yellows throughout his shell. So let me soften that up, and there we have it. We have our crab. I'm almost done with him. We got one final touch, if I can find it. I am going to encompass up here on his eye. Can you see? I am putting some white around there, enclosing his eye. There is our hermit crab, and I'm going to give him a little bit more depth right there to round his face off. There, I'm going to splotch his eye again right there. Miss Barthel just blew off her paper because it's full of chalk pastels. And the last thing we might want to do is to take some browns and kind of scrub them along here. If you have a chalk pastel, you can do your paperwork like this, and it picks up what we call a scrubbing. It is picking up the chalk and it scrubs it. As you see, it skips part of the places. And I'm going to get a little bit even quicker and funnier and fancier and put a little bit of the darker in there like that. That's called scrubbing. All you're doing is taking your chalk and using the flat inside of it. You can just do it like that, the whole thing down there. And I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to start putting in scrubbing around the tops. That looks like ocean water that I wouldn't want to be in, would you? No. So let's put some bright, bright, bright blues in there. Some bright blues. I like that water a lot better. Turquoise. Ooh, yeah. And then we're going to go down here and put a little bit in there. There we have our hermit crab. Let me see if I can go back up here to the main screen and hold him up for you. There is our hermit crab. And I just set up meetings for the third graders to have Zoom classroom, and I'm going to start having a time for y'all starting next week. You should get it through your school's email or the wall on the LMS where the link will be for our Zoom. All right? Make sure you show them to me at our next meeting. All right? Have fun.